Hey everyone, so this is a video that you must watch about the dangers of sugar, and I'm going to be speaking from a very personal, kind of like a testimony of just how bad it is for us, where it is, and it's hidden, so we have to be careful of it, and what we can do to change our lifestyle right now. So stay with me, let's jump in. Hey everyone, so y'all probably know me by now. I'm Janice and I am on the pursuit of health. And so these videos that I'm sharing, it's just my little stories and little tips that have worked for me. I do not claim, please, of course, see your medical professional, but I am talking about different things that have worked for me. And I was on a one-way track to heart disease, cancers, all of that. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes a couple years ago. All my joints ached. I had a really bad skin condition, psoriasis. It's just, I was really on just this path of being unhealthy. And, I just really, being a faith-based person, I was just like, trying to find the light and find the answers for how I could live a long life and get my life back on track. And so these are just little things that as I've researched have been revealed to me. And one of the main things that kept coming back was just how toxic and how bad sugar is for us. Now, when we think of sugar, we think, cakes and candies and donuts and all of that. But I've learned that there is added sugar in just about everything. And this is going to just walk us through why we have to be so careful of it, okay? This would be like the number one thing I would say to work on even before anything else, and that is sugar. So, because sugar addiction is real, I am proof of it, and I'm also here on the other end where I have given it up and I have been faithful, and I hope it is a lifestyle and I'll be faithful with this journey forever. So, all right. Why is it toxic? Sugar is toxic to our bodies because it causes a multitude of diseases. And it might not happen over time, but think about how we all start. We're eating sugar when we're little. We're feeding our kids juices that is loaded with sugar. We get used to all of the candies and cakes because we're young. We probably have fast metabolisms. We can just, kind of eat what we want and not gain a pound kind of thing. But it's still horrible, even for children. And so I became addicted to sugar at a very young age. I didn't even realize it until recently. And I have struggled with my entire adult life with trying to get my weight under control and failing miserably. I even did a lap band surgery and I failed miserably. Instead, all it does, it gets me stuck. It makes me puke. I never, ever, ever recommend lap band surgery. What I have done though, just starting this year, is I gave up. I focused on one thing, and that was sugar, because all of the things I've researched, talking to my doctor, all of that was that sugar is so bad for me. And so it's toxic. I had high triglycerides. You guys, I'm talking over 300 was my triglycerides level. I was type 2 diabetic. Getting my sugars under control, it's so hard, they just give you more and more medicine because we just keep consuming sugar, and sugar is just so hard for the pancreas, for our organs. And so, I was on the medications for that, and just gaining weight, feeling bloated, horrible, achy joints, like my knees were hurting, my wrists were hurting, my fingers were hurting, the joints of my fingers. I mean, on and on and on. Sugar is toxic. And so if you're feeling any of those in your body, I'm not saying that is the only answer, but I'm telling you, start with sugar because it is so toxic for us. I actually read somewhere that sugar feeds cancer. And so, and of course, I have to do a little bit more research on that. But overall, if you watch any kind of health video or if you read any kind of health book, most of them are all going to come back to sugar is not good for you, okay? So we know we have to give it up, right? So if you're like me, and even if you don't give it up wholly and completely, you have to definitely cut back and limit it. So how do we do that? And what are some things that, where is it? Because you can stop, even just stopping with the junk food is such a big help. But sugar is in everything. It's in yogurts. There's sugars in creamers. There's sugars in spaghetti sauce. There's sugars in just added sugar. I remember I was making stuffing last week for Thanksgiving, and I had bought the breadcrumbs ahead of time, and there was added sugar in the breadcrumbs. I'm like, why would you add sugar to this? So it is really everywhere, guys, and we have to just be militant about trying to, like, reading the backs of the labels, making sure that we understand what's in it, what's not in it. Here's another example. I make a vegetable sausage stew. It's really good. My family loves it. It's full of vegetables, broth, and then I cut up sausage, smoked sausage. Well, I was purchasing sausage thinking it's a protein, there's no sugar in it. And so I just kind of flipped the back of it. And, I don't want to give off name brands, but there's a couple name brands. They have added sugar in the smoked sausage. I was like so upset. Why would you put sugar in smoked sausage? So then I just started reading the backs of labels, and there's some brands, they're not as popular as the other ones, but they have no added sugars. And so I buy those in order for me to make my healthy sausage stew. So that's just like a little, just be careful. It's everywhere. It's just sneaky. And I'm telling you, it's just so bad for us. So just be careful, know where it's at. And here are some main culprits. Don't drink your calories. There's sugars in so much of what we drink. Juices, fruit juices, full of sugar. Your coffee drinks from the coffee shops, trust me, I'm a coffee girl. Sugars, there's so much. And you have to be careful even with milk because there's natural lactose in milk. So I don't completely avoid cheeses and things like that, but I do try to limit my milk consumption as much as possible. I know with the keto diets, a lot of times people will have cheesecakes or they'll do like versions of that, but just be careful because the lactose is sugar as well. So it's just a different form of it. But there's just all of that stuff that we consume that have these sugar spikes. Another thing to be careful of course, is carbs. So I'm not saying go keto or anything like that, all right? We all have to pick our struggles. I'm saying be careful because like a potato is going to raise your blood sugar levels. It does for me. I'm speaking from experience. I try not to have breads or pastas at all anymore, but I still will have a baked potato every now and then. And because it is full of fiber and there are some health benefits to it, but I will say that it spikes my blood sugar every time. So I have to be very careful with potatoes. Rice, same thing. I don't have rice because it just spikes my blood sugar. So these are just different things that I've had to learn to be careful of, okay, when it comes to trying to get rid of added sugars in my life. So then that leaves us with the final piece. What can I have? If I give up sugars, Janice, what can I have? Well, I'm glad you asked. This has been quite a journey for me. And so I have to really, I have chosen to not focus too much on if there's natural sugars in something. So for instance, fruit will have natural sugars, but there's also lots of fiber, lots of minerals and antioxidants in it. And so, for instance, I haven't pushed off fruit, but I don't touch fruit juice. I eat vegetables. I have learned to, make half my plate vegetables at dinner time. I love spinach. I love green beans. I love carrots. I love asparagus. Sweet potatoes, that's more like a carb, but sometimes I classify it as a veggie. But I pick what I like because I'm not a big veggie girl. I'm going to be honest. I was one of those meat and potatoes and donuts and cakes kind of girl. But I have learned to just focus on what I enjoy, and my body is very thankful for it. And so I have that. And of course, I also try to include protein. I know that there's the people who are against eggs, but I'll make a scrambled egg. I'll make, of course, just chicken or, turkey for Thanksgiving or ham or any of that. I also will, try to have protein and veggies on my plate. And every now and then, like I said, I'll have a baked potato. But it's been a complete shift because there's just, for instance, there is sugar in salad dressings. And so I had to be really careful with salads because I like salads, okay, but I have to have dressing on it. Everything has sugar. So it really kind of put a pause to what I was eating before because it's not, there's just so much out there that has that sugar component in it. So it will take a lifestyle shifting. But if you just start with maybe even limiting sugar. So maybe you are like, listen, I'm too busy to be reading the backs of labels. And if it has a little bit of added sugar in spaghetti sauce, I'm not going to stress. I get you. But maybe curb drinking sugar, like no juices, no coffee drinks with sugars, no sodas with sugars, just, maybe curbing no junk food. I'm not going to have any kind of junk food. I'm not going to have any of the main culprits that I know have sugar in them. Start there and you will see a world of difference. My joints, they don't ache at all anymore. My triglycerides are now in the normal range. My cholesterol is now normal. My blood sugar and my A1C and all of that, my fasting sugars, they have been normal now since I have done this. They started to be normal about 6 weeks after I started my no sugar journey. So I'm telling you, this works. And I don't really focus on everything else. I just focus on trying not to have any more sugar in my diet. And it is working wonders for me. So don't let sugar sabotage your health. I learned the hard way. I'm an old lady now. My birthday was Sunday. I'm 49. And it has taken me this long to realize that sugar was sabotaging my life. And so I gave it up. And I just want to encourage you all, whether you give it up, whether you eliminate completely, whether you just limit, your body will thank you to limit sugar and to have it stop sabotaging your health pursuits. All right. Hope that helped. If you have any questions or any advice for me, drop it in the comments. And of course, like and subscribe. If this content is great and you enjoy it, and I want to wish you all a great and blessed week and day and all that good stuff. All right.